Finding your way. Why directions matter. Imagine you are lost in a new city. You are hungry and tired. You need to find your hotel. What do? You ask for directions. Knowing how to give and receive directions is an important part of everyday life. It helps us navigate our world and connect with others. Whether you are traveling to a new place or just trying to find your way around your own city, being able to give clear and concise directions is a valuable skill. This guide will teach you everything you need to know about giving directions in English. We will cover basic phrases, common landmarks, and tips for making your directions easy to understand. So, let's get started. Mastering the basics, essential phrases for giving directions. Before we dive into more complex directions, let's start with some basic phrases that are essential for giving directions in English. These phrases are the building blocks of effective communication when you're trying to help someone find their way. Whether you're in a bustling city or a quiet countryside, knowing how to give clear and concise directions can make a world of difference. These phrases are simple but powerful, and they will help you communicate your directions clearly and effectively. Let's start with the phrase, "Go straight ahead." This is one of the most straightforward directions you can give. It tells the person to continue moving in the same direction without turning. This phrase tells the person to continue walking or driving in the same direction. It's a useful phrase when the path ahead is clear and there are no immediate turns or intersections. You might use this when someone is just starting their journey or when they need to stay on a main road for a while. You can also say "go straight" or "keep going straight." These variations are equally effective and can be used interchangeably. Now let's move on to turning directions. Turn left. This phrase tells the person to turn to their left. It's important to be clear and precise when giving this direction, especially in areas with multiple intersections or pathways. You can also say "make a left" or "take a left." These phrases are commonly used in everyday conversation and are easily understood. Now let's talk about turning right. Turn right. This phrase tells the person to turn to their right. Just like with turning left, it's crucial to be clear and specific to avoid any confusion. You can also say "make a right" or "take a right." These variations are widely used and understood. Now let's talk about indicating the location of a destination. It's on your left. This phrase tells the person that the destination is on their left-hand side. It's a helpful phrase when the person is close to their destination and just needs a final bit of guidance. It's on your right. This phrase tells the person that the destination is on their right-hand side. Again, it's useful for providing that last bit of direction when the person is almost there. Now, let's talk about landmarks. It's next to. This phrase tells the person that the destination is located beside another landmark. Landmarks are incredibly useful in giving directions because they are often easily recognizable and can serve as clear reference points. For example, you could say "it's next to the bank." This provides a clear and specific point of reference that can make finding the destination much easier. By mastering these basic phrases, you'll be well equipped to give clear and effective directions in English. Excuse me, where's the nearest coffee shop? Example dialogues. Now that we've covered some basic phrases, let's look at some example dialogues to see how they are used in context. Dialogue 1. Tourist. Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the nearest coffee shop? Local. Sure, go straight ahead for 2 blocks. The coffee shop will be on your right, next to the bookstore. Tourist. Thank you so much. Local. You're welcome. Dialogue 2. Pedestrian. Excuse me, I'm looking for the post office. Do you know where it is? Local. Yes, it's on Main Street. Turn left at the next corner, then walk for about 5 minutes. You'll see it on your left, across from the library. Pedestrian. Great, thank you. Local, no problem. These dialogues demonstrate how to use the basic phrases we learned earlier to give clear and concise directions. Notice how the speakers use landmarks to help the listener visualize the route. By incorporating familiar points of interest, the directions become much easier to follow. This technique is especially useful in busy urban areas where street names alone might not be sufficient. For instance, mentioning a well-known bookstore or a popular cafe can provide additional context that helps the person receiving directions to orient themselves more effectively. In today's digital age, many people rely on smartphones and GPS for navigation. However, knowing how to ask for and give directions remains a valuable skill. It can be particularly helpful in situations where technology fails, such as in areas with poor signal or when your device runs out of battery. Moreover, interacting with locals can provide insights and tips that you might not find on a map or app. Practicing these dialogues can also enhance your language skills. When traveling to a foreign country, being able to ask for directions in the local language can make your experience more immersive and enjoyable. It shows respect for the local culture and can lead to more meaningful interactions with the people you meet. Remember, the key to effective communication is clarity and politeness. Always start with a polite greeting and a clear question. Listen carefully to the response and don't hesitate to ask for clarification if needed. Most people are happy to help and appreciate the effort you put into communicating clearly. To summarize, using landmarks, being polite, and practicing these dialogues can greatly improve your ability to ask for and give directions. Whether you're in a bustling city or a quiet town, these skills will help you navigate with confidence and ease. So next time you find yourself in need of directions, remember these tips, and you'll be well on your way to your destination. Landmarks, your guiding stars in the city. Landmarks are not just physical structures, they are the essence of a city's identity. They tell stories, mark history, and guide us through the urban jungle. Whether you're a local or a visitor, landmarks serve as your guiding stars, helping you navigate the bustling streets and find your way. Landmarks are an important part of giving directions. They provide a visual reference that can be easily recognized and remembered. When you mention a landmark, it instantly creates a mental image, making it easier for the person to understand and follow your directions. Imagine trying to find your way in a new city without any landmarks. It would be like navigating a maze without any clues. They help people visualize the route and make it easier to follow your instructions. For instance, telling someone to turn left at the big clock tower is much more effective than just saying turn left after a few blocks. Landmarks provide context and make the journey more intuitive. They act as checkpoints, reassuring you that you're on the right path. Here are some common landmarks that you can use when giving directions. Each city has its unique set of landmarks that locals and visitors alike rely on. These landmarks can range from historical monuments to modern skyscrapers, each with its own story and significance. Banks are usually located on busy streets and are easy to spot. They often have distinctive architecture and prominent signage, making them reliable points of reference. Whether it's a historic bank building or a modern financial institution, banks are landmarks that people can easily identify. Restaurants are another common landmark that can be helpful for giving directions. Popular eateries often become well-known landmarks in their own right. Whether it's a famous local diner or a high-end restaurant, these places are frequented by many and are easy to recognize. Hotels are often tall buildings that are easy to see from a distance. They are usually located in central areas and are designed to stand out. Whether it's a luxury hotel or a budget inn, these buildings are often used as reference points for navigation. Schools are usually large buildings with playgrounds and sports fields. They are often situated in residential areas and are well known to the local community. Schools can serve as excellent landmarks, especially in neighborhoods where other prominent structures might be lacking. Parks are green spaces that are often located in the center of a town or city. They provide a refreshing contrast to the urban environment and are popular spots for relaxation and recreation. Parks are easily recognizable and can be great landmarks for giving directions. When giving directions, try to use landmarks that are familiar to the person you are talking to. This ensures that they can easily identify the reference points and follow your instructions without confusion. Tailoring your directions to the person's knowledge of the area can make a significant difference. For example, if you are talking to someone from out of town, you might want to use landmarks that are well-known tourist attractions. These are places that are likely to be recognized even by those who are not familiar with the city. Using famous landmarks can make your directions more effective and easier to follow. Your turn to navigate a map activity. Now it's your turn to practice giving directions. Look at the map above. Imagine you are standing at the starting point, the red star. How would you give directions to the following locations? The park, the school, the hotel. Write down your directions using the phrases and landmarks we have covered in this guide. Tips for crystal clear directions. Giving directions is more than just rattling off street names. Here are some tips to make your directions crystal clear. Be polite and friendly. Start with, "Excuse me," and end with "Thank you." Ask if they want the quickest route or the easiest to follow. Sometimes the fastest way isn't the simplest. Use clear and concise language. Avoid using slang or jargon that the other person may not understand. Speak slowly and repeat yourself if necessary. This will give the other person time to process the information. Use hand gestures to point out directions. This can be helpful if the person is having trouble understanding your words. Be patient. Not everyone is good at following directions. If the person seems lost, offer to help them find their way. You've got this. Mastering the art of giving directions. Giving directions is a valuable skill that can help you in countless situations. By mastering the basic phrases, understanding landmarks, and following these simple tips, you'll be able to confidently guide anyone to their destination. Remember, practice makes perfect. The more you use your English to give directions, the easier and more natural it will become. So, get out there, explore your world, and don't be afraid to ask for or give directions along the way.